Nie unijna dotacja, a pożyczka.
Not an EU subsidy, but a multi-billion pound euro loan, as much as 44 billion euros for an important purpose, for armaments, but, and here there are several reasons for doubt and questions. Among others, why should the money be spent only within the European Union? The head of government is delighted. After months of waiting and being pushed to the back of the queue for an EU loan, a decision has been made.
Tak? Dzięki.
Listen, we have 44 billion euros for Poland for defence from the EU SAFE programme. The Prime Minister's joy was caused, of course, by the European Commission, which on Monday approved Poland's national plan for the use of defence funds under the SAFE programme. Poland will receive financial support worth nearly 44 billion euros. This is a tsunami of money, and as a minister also responsible for European affairs, I am proud of it. The government promises that nearly 90% of this money will actually go to domestic companies in the defence sector. The largest funds are to be allocated to the Eastern Shield, but this flagship project, which they have been talking about so loudly for 2 years, has 500 million zloty in funding in the 2026 budget. The total cost of the project is 10 billion zloty, 500 million this year and 500 million last year. They will be building the Eastern Shield for 20 years. Because that is only one of the problems with the SAFE programme. The most doubts are raised by the enormous restrictions on the programme. First of all, the money may only be spent within the European Union, and you have to declare what you will be spent on right away. It is no secret that the largest producer of ammunition and a major manufacturer of weapon systems is the German company Rheinmetall. The minister responsible for SAFE says we cannot use this programme to buy American or Korean equipment. In the light of the newly announced National Defence Strategy, not to be confused with the United States National Security Strategy, this puts us in a rather difficult situation. But it is not only the goal that raises doubts, and not even the programme itself, which is supposed to serve Polish security. That is, after all, a priority, but the elimination of American competition. Because much of the military equipment that Poland has already purchased is American. Will it be compatible with what we buy in Europe? We can't have a situation where we have the Polish Army Unit A American and the Polish Army Unit B on European equipment, and the point of contact is a guy with two walkie-talkies, one American, the other German. But that is not all. Starting from the beginning, the very form of payment raises doubts. This is no longer an EU subsidy paid from member states' contributions. It is simply a loan.
Artykuł 5.
Form of financial assistance granted to a member state by the Union. Member states wishing to obtain financial assistance under the SAFE programme should submit an application together with an investment plan for the European defence industry. The Commission and the member states should engage in dialogue to determine the initial loan amounts. This is not financed from the multi-annual framework from membership contributions. It is in the nature of reconstruction funds. It is money borrowed by the European Commission, just like the loan to Ukraine. It will have to be repaid in a moment. It turns out that Germany itself is well aware of this. The press in our western neighbour is already reporting that. Germany will not take advantage of safe loans because it can also borrow on the financial markets on very favourable terms without the support of the European Union. In addition, based on experience, we may suspect that, as in the case of the National Recovery Plan, the European Commission may be able to use any argument to block the disbursement of funds. For example, the rule of law. We keep asking questions, but we don't get any answers. We also ask why we agreed that we would not be able to invest in new arms factories, but would pay for the existing ones. From the United States, we already have, among other things, HIMARS rocket launchers, Patriot surface-to-air missile systems, F-16 and F-35 multi-role aircraft, Black Hawk helicopters from the United States but manufactured in Mielec, which ultimately won over the French Caracals after a controversial tender approved by the previous Tusk government was invalidated. It was unfavourable to Polish industry. The European Union's quiet secret dream is to push, no, not the Russians, the Americans out of Europe. So a huge financial commitment, we will only be able to arm ourselves with EU institutions and companies. And the world's strongest ally, according to Berlin and Brussels, is to remain far away. And all this is very good business for Germany, for France, for the European Union, for Brussels, which will get rich by first lending and then recovering the money as part of the loan, while at the same time having investments in armaments within the European Union. Tusk is fixated on Brussels, Berlin and Paris. Nothing else interests him. But where is Poland's interest in all this?